He is hailing from Titletown. He is coming off his second third-place finish in just 5 Smackoffs. He is one of the best of the new generation of clones doing it. So good that I've often referred to him as this generation's best to never win one. Let's see if he can shed that gloss today. He is appearing in his 6th Smackoff. He is from Green Bay, Wisconsin. He is Kaleb. Kaleb to start hour number 3. Kaleb, what's up? How are you?
Welcome. What is up? Thank you for tuning into the program. I've got a tremendous Friday call for you. My name is Kaleb in Green Bay, and here is what I am burning on. Burning. When I first jumped onto the scene as a caller, people said I reminded them of a young Jeff in Richmond, and I always took that as a compliment. But after seeing his photos on television, now I know what they meant. Burning. There was a real explosive take on me, Cal. You call yourself a gambler, but the only person who loses hands in a more gruesome fashion is Jason Pierre-Paul. But I heard your favorite hotel in Vegas is the Flamingo because it's the only bird in the animal kingdom with a similar wingspan. Burning. I know we're still not sure if Mike's going to call later, and a few people have pointed this out recently, but he spends half of his call every year telling us how good his previous call was. My call last year was so money, Jeff Bezos asked my call if he could borrow $20. My call last year was so hot, Kaleb in Green Bay tried to slide in my call's DMs. But Romy, while I was on hold, I had an epiphany. Anybody can write a Mike and Indy call. All you need is a dictionary, a pair of scissors, and a baseball cap. Just cut out a few random words, toss them in, swish them around for a few seconds, and voila. My call last year was so radioactive, Aaron Rodgers took a rhinoceros to the pharmacy. My call last year was so bedazzled, Jason La Canfora played Monopoly at a birthday party. Mike, nobody understands what the hell you're talking about. Burning. Hey, Matt and Van, I love that line about there being 200 countries in the world and 180 of them are free. I liked it better when you said it 2 years ago. Who steals lines from themselves? What do you do when you cash your paycheck? Put a gun to your head? Call yourself and demand a ransom? Burning. Some dude named Kyle Costa wrote a piece for The Big Lead yesterday about what it takes to win the Smackoff. My favorite part was when Shawnee wishes he had a nickel for every Uncle Fester joke. Hey, Cap, don't be too hard on yourself. You don't look like Uncle Fester. You look like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade balloon of Uncle Fester. But I saw you got married recently. Congratulations. If I could offer you a little piece of advice, if you decide to have more kids, make sure you name them after people and things that are near and dear to your heart. Some examples: Wendy, Popeye, Carl Jr., and just in case you have twins, Ruth and Chris. Burning. And Jim, this week, as I was trying to figure out what I would talk about in my Smackoff call, I ran into a pretty serious dilemma. What can I possibly have to say about Brad? How do I attack the most untouchable caller ever? Should I be like everybody else and hit him for being ugly? Well, no, he's quite handsome. Perfect facial symmetry, manly jawline, white teeth. My face is made of shapes that mathematicians haven't even named yet. What about his weight? Well, Brad looks like God carved him from a solid block of marble. I look like God had some leftover pizza dough in the fridge and stuffed it into a 2XL Packers jersey. The ladies? I bet Brad had his choice of women in high school, college, and post-grad. I can't even get my female optometrist to look me in the eye. All we need now is to find out that Mrs. Brad keeps a shoe line on her bedside table. And if that's the case, I'm just going to go in the bathroom and see if my toaster floats. Burning. But, Jim, my point is this. Rewarding Brad with 5 Smackoff titles is like giving Fabio a machine gun and a barrel of trout and crowning him world's greatest fisherman. If you really want him to lord over the rest of us creatures, just give him a job. Since 2015, you've already paid him $15,000, which is more than your staff currently gets. I saw the video. Old man Garrett dribbled a rolled-up ball of wool socks held together by chicken wire and tossed it into a cardboard box stapled to the side of his house. Feel free to mix in another zero on his next paycheck. These poor guys had to get a second job as Cruz Pedregon's pit crew just to make ends meet, although it's not that weird when you think about it. Rick and Buffalo also has a pit crew, but it's just 2 guys he hired to walk on either side of him at all times with a paint roller and a bucket of Old Spice. And now it is time for my final burn. Burning. It's been mentioned before on the show that I fancy myself a poet, and a little birdie told me that Rick and Buffalo reads my poetry in his spare time, so I wrote him something for the occasion. Oompa, loompa, doompa-dee-doo. Wonka's employees are taller than you. Oompa, loompa, doompa-da-dee. If you are wise, you'll listen to me. What do you get when you're angry and short? A pain in the ass and a crappy retort. Why don't you try simply calming it down? Then you wouldn't sound like a clown. I don't like the look of it. Oompa, loompa, doompa-dee-dash. I'm gonna win 5,000 in cash. You will live in poverty too, like the Oompa, loompa, doompa-dee-doo. Burning. All right, I want to thank you for tuning into the show on Randall's first Smackoff in heaven, on Trapper and Dana Point, on the Baltic Republics, on Wisconsin, Around the Horn is next. I will see you on Monday. I am out.
Little throwback to Jim Roman's Burning. All right, Kaleb, man, talented kid, but that phone line, Kaleb, that phone line.